During the national stakeholders engagement in Kampala, which aimed at getting views of different gaps and challenges identified in Kyaka refugee settlement and Kyegewa host communities regarding gender-based violence, Regina Bafachi, Executive Director of Action for Development ACFOD, a women's rights organization that promotes gender equality and women's rights in Uganda, noted that several forms of sexual and gender-based violence continue to take place in Kyaka refugee settlement and Kyegewa host communities in Uganda.
Today, having a national stakeholders engagement for which we hope to have different views about the different gaps and challenges that we have identified as we implemented a project in Kyaka refugee settlement and the host communities in Kyegewa district.
Bafachi says that they have employed different methods in the mentioned areas to address the issue related to sexual gender-based violence.
We have also been able to have engagements with the religious leaders, the local leaders, to enable them understand what it is that we are doing. But most importantly, we have been trying to make sure that power dynamics related to addressing sexual gender-based violence and sexual and reproductive health rights are addressed.
Bafachi adds that they have made several recommendations to the stakeholders regarding sexual gender-based violence in Kyaka refugee settlement and Kyegewa host communities, more so Minister of Education and Minister of Gender.
I've decided to make a number of recommendations to the different institutions, the different organizations that address issues of gender-based violence and sexual and reproductive health rights within the settlement and the host communities. For example, with the Ministry of Education, we would like to see them have comprehensive sexual or sexuality education for the children, because we know much as there is stigma, but the children are active. And of course, for the Ministry of Gender, we would like to see them prioritize the survivors of sexual and gender-based violence so that they benefit from the government programs, like, for example, the parish development model.
Agnes Seboa from Ministry of Health says that there is need to work together as stakeholders to address the issue of gender-based violence.
Today's meeting has really given us great insights when it comes to implementing strategies that are aimed at ending violence against children and also including sexual and gender-based violence. What I've quickly observed that we really need to work together as stakeholders. When we want to attain gender equality, for us we look at collaboratively working together to see that we implement strategies that are aimed at eliminating all forms of violence without also leaving out sexual gender-based violence inclusive.
Sharon Atweire from Ministry of Education noted that there are some policies that protect against different forms of sexual harassment in schools.
Have for the Uganda National Sexuality Framework that spells out the content that schools should cover at various levels, for the lower level of the primary, for the mid level or transition level, and also for upper primary. We also have content in that framework for the secondary schools, and you're aware that we recently reviewed the lower secondary curriculum, and we have a new secondary curriculum on board, which is also a policy that should be implemented in the various institutions. And this has the content to do with sexuality, education, and issues of gender-based violence.
Julius Momza, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.